trying to make a quick video here. I'm finding that I make some videos and it just takes hours to edit stuff, so I'm going to try to make something really quick here. This is Bronco related. Alright, so let's see if this is working now. Can you hear me a little better without the engine running? The engine, yeah. Alright. I had every now and then I'll get one of you Bronco owners emailing me or contacting me about some kind of issue you're having and got a question. Maybe I can help you out, maybe I can't. I was online the other day trying to help this guy out with his Bronco, and I don't know whether it helped him or not, because he told me a few things. He told me some issues he was having, but he left out some important details. He said, first off, that he can't get his vehicle to go forward and backwards in four-wheel drive. And that's kind of strange. Won't go forward or backwards when he puts it in four-wheel drive. At least that's what I got out of it. So, what could it be? What could it be? Well, if it goes in forward and backwards in two-wheel drive, it should go forward and backwards in four-wheel drive, unless something's broken on the front end. You could have something broken in the differential. You could have a U-joint or something broken loose, or even loose down there, and it'll bind up on the axle housings. Other than that, I'm not sure. Only one way to check it out, right? So I'll tell you what I suggested. One thing was to just jack the front wheels off the ground and spin the wheels. Make sure they spin free, especially the front. Next thing would be to spin the drive line, the drive shaft. If I crawl under right now, I should be able to spin the drive shaft by hand, and I should be able to see the drive shafts and the U-joints, the axle shafts and the U-joints turn free. My hubs are unlocked. They're in free position, so everything should turn free. It's a good way to see if anything's broken or anything's binding up. I don't think he understood I don't think he understood me. So from right here, this is the passenger side. Okay, this is the passenger side. Hope I didn't smash my wireless microphone. But you've got a U-joint right here at the spindle, at the steering knuckle. Okay, you got the shaft right here. The shaft on this side is actually in three pieces. You've got the outboard axle, or the stub shaft, I think they call it, and you got this shaft right here, and this goes into a slip joint, which slides in and out. It's kind of like a pipe in a pipe, because it has to have some kind of play here because of the funky configuration on this twin beam or twin traction beam. And then you got one more U-joint over here on this end, which you probably can't see. It's right before the differential. So right now I'm going to turn the drive shaft by hand, and everything's good. You should be able to see this axle shaft move and the U-joint turn. So there we go. Turns free. I see everything turning, and both sides are turning just like they should. Alright, so that's what I suggested that the guy do. Check out, see what's binding up there, right? Well, the next day he says everything turns fine. Oh, he forgot to mention that it only does it when he turns. When he turns, and then he says, oh, it also does it when it's in two-wheel drive. So it's like, a little misinformation there, but I'm suspecting that it has to do something with the U-joints on the passenger side, because I kind of remember this happening before because I forgot to put a C-clip in or a snap ring in. So let me show you let me see what I'm talking about here. Okay. On this side. Well, let's see if I can make any sense here out of this. Let me see if I can explain this a little better. If I remember this correctly, it's been a while since I tore down this front end, but the passenger side axle coming out of the differential does not have a C-clip on it. Typically, the axle will have a C-clip inside the differential, and that holds the differential. That holds the axle into the differential, okay? If I remember right, the driver's side doesn't have one. What it has a snap ring on the outside. Yeah, on the outside axle, and that holds the axle in place, okay? From going out or coming in. And on the passenger side over here, since this is a 3-piece, well actually the axle is actually a 2-piece axle because it has that slip joint. It has to have something holding that axle shaft into the differential. So that passenger side has the C-clip in there. That holds that little short piece in there with the slip joint on there and the U-joint in the axle housing so it doesn't slide out. Okay? Now, then you got the other half of the slip joint part of the axle that goes out to the U-joint and then out to the stub shaft. Something's got to hold that little shaft into the hub there, into the spindle. Otherwise, that shaft will move. You got to remember it's a 2-piece axle shaft there with that slip joint. So this side here will actually slide out of the hub. Yeah. Or out of the spindle. If you don't have the snap ring on the outboard of the axle, which is on the right underneath the hub there. Right underneath the hub. Maybe I'll get my tools out and I'll show you the snap ring on there. So that holds that side of the axle in, and if that's not there, that axle shaft and that U-joint will slide out this way into the housing, and it's got no room to spin because it's out of place. Alright, I hope you can see this. It's hard to see through this LCD screen. It's kind of bright out here. But anyway, this whole axle shaft right here where this U-joint is, where I'm pointing, there's nothing holding it in place except that snap ring that goes on the other side of the wheel here, out by the locking hub. It's underneath the locking hub. I'll show you that in a minute. Without that in there, this U-joint will slide out of place. It'll slide backwards that way, and there's not a whole lot of room in here for this thing to turn as it is. So if it's not in place, that'll give you a problem. Could be flopping around in there. I don't know. You know, it's hard to tell, like I said, what this guy was talking about. He left out a few details, but that's the only thing I can see. Let me show you that snap ring. Alright, let's see if you can get a good look in there. I took the hub off, if you know what I'm talking about, or if you don't know what I'm talking about. They're hubs, these are aftermarket. These came with the Ford auto hubs, which work, but didn't work 100% of the time. That's why I replaced them. So right here, if you look very carefully, is the end of the axle. This is the axle, I think the stub axle. This is what's driving this wheel. And if you can see closely, it has a snap ring on it. Let's see when you zoom in here. Is that all I can zoom in? Come on now. Come on, Willis. Oh, no, don't. Well, I hope you can see that. There's a, let's see, we're not going to curve here. Where are we at? Right here, right there. You can see the snap ring. You can see the little holes for the snap ring tool. That is holding the axle outboard, holding it out, and that's keeping your U-joints in there. Otherwise, without that, the axle will push in, and your U-joints will probably hit the axle housing. So that's it for this video. I'm gonna move this truck back into place and let it sit here for a few more months.